Okay, today I'm going to set up the 15-foot trampoline set. It's from Pure Fun, but whether you get it from Upper Bounce or wherever, it's pretty much still the same thing. It was really heavy when it was all in the box, so I took the parts out, the netting and the trampoline itself, some more netting, and then 2 boxes of springs, these green things, I don't even know what they do yet, some washers and things like that, the side pieces, and then the frame I've already taken. First we're going to go ahead and start with the frame, like the instructions say. It says you're supposed to have 2 people. I'm sure it will be easier with 2 people, because I've got my kids to help me, and myself. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully this will be easy to see that it shouldn't be too difficult to set up a trampoline.
Okay, the next thing we did is we got the frame and we laid it out so that we could figure out where it was going to fit and if it was going to be a good fit. And it kind of also eliminated some of the pieces, so I wasn't wondering where something went. So that was a good plan, and the kids were really able to help me. Next, I took all of the pieces that fit into the frame, and you can see that you can actually move the thing so that you can find the hole that you need, and tighten them up and got ready to actually put the frame together. This next part was just setting up the frame. It was very easy for me to do by myself. I just went around and put the tops on and put the bars up so that it was totally secure. This was pretty simple, and like I said, you can go through and get it all set up and it actually stands on its own, because there's one more pole that you can attach to it that will help it stand. Now, I did totally mess up. I didn't read the instructions, and I couldn't figure out why the poles wouldn't go together, and I didn't have them perpendicular. I had them parallel to the frame. So I kept going, oh, why is it not fitting on there? And then finally, I figured out that I had them perpendicular. So that took me an extra probably half an hour. I can admit it. Mistakes were made. Then I completely tightened up the frame, made sure that everything was ready to go because we were about to flip it over. And I had my son come and hold the thing while I finished up doing some of the tightening. So there definitely is a need for a second person at some point. Some of it you can do on your own, but sometimes you need an extra person. Then we went around the circle and we put all the springs into the holes. Then we actually started to put the trampoline on. Now it was really good. They had to help me because they held the trampoline up while I tried to put some of the springs on.
Okay, so after about, 3 hours of doing this by myself, I did the springs, and I started sort of in a pattern. I put some springs in at 12, then I put some springs in at 6, and then I put some in at, 9, and then at 3, and then I kind of filled them in. But what happened is when I got to the very last ones, I just wasn't strong enough to pull them, and it wasn't coming across. So when my other half got home, we both did it together, and we were able to pull them and get the last pieces finished. So we got all the spring on, but definitely not a one-person job unless you're super strong, and I'm pretty strong. But there was no way. I mean, it was so far apart between where it needed to be and where it is now. So definitely, I used the spring tool for most of them. I got it all set up, but I needed someone to help me at the end. I couldn't do it on my own. So now we're going to go ahead and do the covering for the springs, and then the poles, and then the net. So it's still a beautiful spring day, and hopefully I can knock this out in about an hour, and then we will be done and ready to bounce away.
Once I got everything set up, then I put the cover over the springs. This was really easy. I just ran around the circle. I didn't tie it though, because later when I put the poles on, I knew it would be easier if it was loose. Then after that, I put the poles together. That was really quick. They just snapped together really easily. And then I put the blue sleeve on them. Not a problem. Putting the sleeves on was actually pretty difficult, the green ones, so I realized a better method would be to actually kind of use gravity to help get them on. Then I put the poles up, and this is where I was glad that I had left the green spring cover loose so that I could get in there easy. Once I put the poles in, I secured the poles, and I realized there was a hole in the front and a hole in the back, and it was a lot easier to screw it into the hole in the front. Then I went ahead and I put the net up. I went around those little things that I didn't know what they were in the beginning, those little green things. They were the toppers for the net, and they held the net together. Then I tied off the side ties for the net.
Ooh, good one.